Unexpectedly heavy rain, putting a little bit of a damper on numbers at the medical marijuana protest. But liberty activists in New Hampshire are becoming more sophisticated and prepared with their setups, and happy to endure the rain in any case. Number of demonstrators. I've counted at least 29 so far.
29 what?
Demonstrators.
Holding my hand, okay?
So demonstrators have been heading all over the area. So they're so spread out. There's really quite a few of them, but it doesn't look, there's no one shot that shows how many demonstrators there are. So this group down here that you see in the distance, they were over at Loudon in Maine, pretty far away from the main demonstration, but everybody who drives into the State House pretty much sees you in that location. So my revised count now is 40 people that I've counted so far, but it's going to be hard for me to further revise that. There's a shot to give you a little better sense of the numbers. Folks are starting to coalesce a little bit into one spot.
88%.
A current or former law enforcement person is speaking now.
That were taken off the streets. When I make an arrest for simple marijuana possession, it ties me up for 2 to 3 hours. I can't be investigating rapes, robberies, or burglaries. I can't see how any administrator could say that this is an efficient allocation of resources. Look at this, to take a risk and not to be afraid to speak out in the face of adversity.
Medicine might not be able to adequately treat, and one of the illustrations of that is our next speaker, who is
Channel 9 is here, the local mainstream station, ABC affiliate, I think. Maybe NBC, not sure. The medical marijuana bill is pretty narrow in who it allows to use, but it's been changed a little bit to make it even more narrow, and goes back before the House and Senate, then to the governor, is my understanding. We're in Concord, New Hampshire, by the way, and it's June 24th, 2009. I'm sitting here with New Hampshire Representative Dan Itza, State Rep Dan Itza, and you have a concern about this bill in terms of possible expenditures?
No, not expenditures. Well, I guess there will be expenditures because
state expenditures.
State expenditures, because you have to set up compassion centers through which to distribute the medical marijuana. But I'm also highly disappointed in the view that government has to interpose itself. What we saw potentially was a legal manner in which individuals would be able to access a free, homegrown pain control, and now that would be no longer.
Did you get any sense from the fiscal note on this bill as to what the expected costs might be to the state?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Yeah, that was a new issue for me. I didn't know that this had fiscal implications, except for maybe reduced numbers of people put in jail.
So, I'm disappointed, and at this point I don't know whether I want to support the bill, because I don't want to support government interposition.
Yeah.
And it's just unnecessary. And look what a wonderful job the FDA did protecting us from contaminated heparin from China, and all of the ads you see on TV for the drugs that will kill you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm highly disappointed.
All right, well, I guess, anything done by the government is going to be disappointing sooner or later. All right, thanks, Dan. Yeah. All right, it sort of looks like a campaign ad with you there, but actually, I wanted to come back to Matt Simon from NH Common Sense and let you address a concern. There's some folks who are worried that the bill, the medical marijuana bill, might actually end up costing the state money. I was wondering if you could address that for me.
Well, that can't happen. I would advise those people to read the fine print of the bill. It's explicitly written in there that the department must set fees, and for each of the fees, there are several fees that are part of the bill, but the fees must be set to cover the cost of the program. That's in the language of the bill, so there's no way this could cost the state money. If anything, it will save the state money on not having to enforce certain cases or possibly having to incarcerate a seriously ill patient.
And the concern regarding, some folks say they feel kind of like the state will be running the marijuana distribution to some extent.
That won't be happening at all. The state will be licensing up to 3 nonprofit compassion centers, which would be state regulated, and they would have to keep accurate records and respond to the Department of Health. But they would not be. The state would not go into the marijuana business. They're merely saying that these nonprofits are allowed to do what everybody wants them to do, which is to provide safe, legal access to medical marijuana for seriously ill patients whose doctors recommend it.
All right, great. Thanks, Matt.
My pleasure.